don't remember when the rule first showed up. I think that's the part that unsettles me the most. You'd think something like that, something that changes the way you live your life, would have a clear starting point. A moment, a date, a reason. But with this, it's like it just existed. Like it was always there. A quiet echo in the back of my mind. Don't talk to the man in the mirror. Not don't look. Not don't see. Just don't talk. And it sounds insane when I say it out loud. I know that. That's why I've never said it to anyone else. Not my co-workers, not my ex, not even my mother. And she's the kind of person who still tosses salt over her shoulder when someone says the word spirit. But the rule worked. For years it worked. No accidents, no questions, no explanations needed. It just became habit, like locking the door before bed or flipping the light switch twice if the bulb flickers. You do it because not doing it feels wrong, like you've broken some fragile agreement with the universe. So I didn't talk. Not when I was brushing my teeth and caught my own tired eyes staring back. Not when I practiced tough conversations in front of the bathroom mirror, lips moving silently while my reflection pretended not to judge me. Not even when I cried. And then, last night, I broke it. I was tired. That's the simplest excuse I can give you. Tired in the way that seeps into your bones, the kind that builds over years, not hours. Work had been brutal. A 14-hour shift that ended in a silent, piss-yellow subway ride, and a long walk home through a city that was just a little too quiet. My apartment smelled like dust and the half-eaten takeout I forgot to throw out. There was a pile of unopened mail on the table, but I stepped over it, shoes still on, and went straight into the bathroom. That's when it started. I didn't feel off, not at first. I didn't hear any whispers or see anything strange in the mirror. Just me, same as always. Sleep deprived, stubble creeping in around my jaw, shirt collar wrinkled and soaked through with sweat. But I was staring longer than usual. That's the first red flag I should have caught. Something was off in the eyes. Not mine, his. The shape was the same, the expression too, but something in them held too much focus, like my reflection was waiting, listening. That's when I said it. I don't know why. I don't even remember deciding to speak. The words just fell out of me, tired and raw. I said, "You look like hell." The moment the words left my mouth, the mirror didn't change. Not visually. There was no flash of light, no crack of thunder. Just a still moment, longer than it should have been, and something in the air behind the glass shifted. I blinked. My reflection blinked. But it felt like we weren't in sync anymore. Like there was a half-second lag I couldn't unsee. And then he smiled. I didn't. I stepped back, heart hammering. A nervous laugh almost escaped, but it died in my throat when I realized my shoulders were still hunched forward, and so were his. The smile was the only difference. And I knew I had done something wrong. I had spoken. I had talked to him. I backed out of the bathroom and closed the door, slow and quiet, like a kid afraid to wake their parents after sneaking in past curfew. I slept on the couch that night, lights on, TV buzzing on mute. This morning the door was open, and I don't mean ajar. I mean fully, completely open. Lights off, mirror facing outward like a dark eye that had been waiting for me to look. I didn't go in. I showered at the gym, brushed my teeth in the kitchen sink. All day I kept thinking, maybe I imagined it. Maybe I was just exhausted, but that doesn't explain what happened when I got home. The mirror had fogged, not like condensation, like breath. Long, drawn-out strokes across the surface like something, or someone, was standing on the inside, breathing. And there were handprints, not full ones, just the tips of fingers at the bottom of the glass, like he'd been watching from just below the frame, like he'd wanted to see if I'd return. There was something else, too. A faint smear across the bottom corner. Writing, maybe. I leaned in to look, but the angle of the hallway light was wrong. I took one slow step into the bathroom, and I swear, I heard a voice. Soft, amused, like it had been waiting to speak to me. "There you are." I ran. I don't think I've locked a door that fast in my life. I stood in the hallway shaking, waiting for footsteps, for banging, for something to confirm what I just heard. But there was nothing, just silence. I left. I've been driving ever since. Motel parking lot right now. Half-dead neon buzzing above me. I haven't gone near another mirror. Not in the gas station bathroom. Not in the motel lobby. Not even the rear view. I covered it with a towel. I keep thinking, what did I let in? I didn't just talk to it. I acknowledged it. I gave it a name, a voice, a space in my reality. And now it won't go back. I don't know what's going to happen next. But something tells me that wherever I go, he's still watching, still smiling, still waiting for me to answer again. I barely slept, maybe 20 minutes at a time. Every time my eyes shut, I saw that smile. Not a normal smile. There was nothing human in it. It was too patient, like something that had all the time in the world to wait for me to mess up again. And the worst part is, I can't stop seeing him in my head. Not me. Not the guy I've looked at every morning of my life. Him, the one in the mirror. It's like he's inside me now. Not physically. I don't mean possession or some movie-style exorcist stuff. I mean mentally. Like a splinter in my thoughts. Wedged deep enough to hurt, but too small to pull out. Everything feels just a little bit off. Music on the radio sounds slower. People's voices echo longer than they should. I keep catching my own reflection in windows, in store glass, in the chrome bumper of a passing truck. And for a second, every time, I think he's going to do something. Flinch when I don't. Speak without sound. Blink late. But he never does. He just waits. I stopped at a diner this morning, not because I was hungry, just needed a break from driving. Coffee burned my tongue. Didn't even taste real. A waitress asked if I was okay. Said I looked pale. I lied. Said I didn't sleep well. She nodded like she knew the feeling, but her eyes lingered on me too long, like she saw something I didn't. I went to the bathroom before leaving. Stupid, I know. But I had to pee. I figured I'd keep my head down, avoid the mirror, be quick. But there wasn't a mirror, just an empty frame. The glass had been ripped out, not removed, not unscrewed, torn. Shards still clinging to the corners, like something inside didn't want to be seen anymore, or maybe something outside wanted to follow me without needing an invitation. That's when I realized, this isn't about mirrors anymore. It's about reflections. Anything that can show me can show him. I went back out to the parking lot and found a note tucked under my windshield wiper. No envelope, no handwriting, just one line typed in faint black ink. You're looking in the wrong direction. I almost threw up right there, not because of the message, but because I didn't see anyone put it there. I'd been sitting in that booth for 30 minutes. I had a clear view of the car. No one had come near it. I looked around. Nothing but long highway and empty buildings, but I felt watched. Not by someone outside, but like I was glowing from the inside, like I was a lighthouse in some invisible ocean he was navigating by feel. I drove again, south, didn't care where, just away. Found another motel, paid cash, asked for a room without a bathroom mirror. The clerk blinked, but didn't ask questions. I think he saw the tremor in my hand. I think he knew not to. The room still had a TV though, turned off, black screen. I covered it with the motel's spare towel, but the outline of my shape still showed faintly through the fabric when I passed by. just enough to make me sick to my stomach, just enough to make me wonder, was that my shape or his? I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in my lap, staring at the wallpaper. I haven't opened the camera app, haven't taken a selfie, haven't used FaceTime. Part of me wants to smash the phone entirely, but another part, maybe the same one that made me speak last night, wants to see him again, wants to know what he'll say next, because he will say something. That much I know now. He didn't speak last night out of malice. He spoke like someone continuing a conversation that had already begun, like he'd been waiting for me to pick up where I left off, like I'm the one who forgot. I keep trying to remember if this has happened before, if maybe this isn't the first time, if there's a reason that rule was always there in my head, burned in like a brand. What if I didn't make it up? What if I was told and I just forgot? I pulled out an old notebook I keep in my backpack. Thought writing would help. Thought maybe if I traced the edges of memory, something would come back. Something clear. There was already writing inside. Not mine. Not my handwriting. Not my words. Just 3 lines on a page near the middle. You broke the silence. You looked first. You always do. I slammed the book shut. I checked the lock on the door 4 times. Pushed the dresser against it for good measure. Then I sat there on the floor for hours, lights on, waiting for the sun to rise. But it never did. I mean, I'm not crazy. I know it should be morning by now. I've been up for what feels like 30 hours. My phone says it's 7:22 a.m. The motel clock says the same. The TV has the same time too. But outside, it's still night. No light coming through the window. No sunrise, no birds, just black. Like the sun forgot me, or he took it with him. That's why I'm recording this. I don't know if it'll help. I don't know if anyone will hear it. But I have to try, because something is coming. I can feel it building behind the glass. Not rage, not hunger. Something colder, something smarter. Like he knows exactly how long I'll last before I talk again. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe the rule wasn't to protect me. Maybe it was to protect him from being released. And I already did it. I already let him speak. I already let him smile. And I don't think the thing in the mirror is trying to replace me. I think he's trying to remember how to be me. And once he does, there won't be room for both of us. I tried leaving the motel. I packed up, grabbed the keys, checked out without saying a word. The guy at the front desk didn't even look up. I don't know if he was asleep or pretending to be, or maybe he just didn't want to see me. The parking lot was darker than it should have been. The overhead lights were on, but they barely cut through the air. It felt thick, still, like everything around me had stopped moving except me. I got into the car, turned the key. Nothing. The engine didn't even try, just silence. I stepped out to check the battery, just a reflex. But then I saw it, in the side mirror. Not me, him. Smiling again, but different this time. Like he was enjoying something. Like this was the part he liked best. The waiting. The moment I realized I wasn't in control anymore. I backed away from the car and kicked the mirror until it snapped off. I didn't care about the damage. I didn't care about anything except getting away from his face. The glass cracked under my foot. I heard the sharp crunch, felt it vibrate up my leg. But the sound that followed wasn't the mirror. It was laughter. Not loud, not manic, close. I turned around. Nothing was there. But I could still hear it. Faint, like someone chuckling into their own hand. Not trying to scare me, just enjoying this. That was the part that hit the hardest. He wasn't hunting me. He was playing. I walked, left the car, the motel, the parking lot, just started walking down the shoulder of the highway, praying for headlights that never came. No cars, no noise, no wind, Just this long, empty stretch of asphalt that went on forever without changing. At one point, I tried to use my phone for light. That's when I saw the camera app was open. I didn't touch it. I know I didn't. And I know I didn't press record either. But it was recording. Front camera. Me on the screen. Except not just me. Behind me. In the dark. There was a shape. I dropped the phone. Let it clatter across the road into the weeds. Didn't even care. Just ran. I don't know for how long. My legs started burning. My chest ached. Still no sunrise. Still no cars. Still no sign that anything around me was real anymore. Eventually, I found a gas station. One of those ancient, forgotten ones from the 70s with peeling paint and a single flickering pump. The door was open. No lights inside. Just the hum of a fridge somewhere in the back. I went in anyway. There was a mirror behind the counter. I didn't look at it. I felt it. Like a pressure in the room. Like someone holding their breath right behind my ear. My eyes started watering. I kept them fixed on the floor, hands shaking, knuckles white around the edge of the counter. And then I heard him again, right in front of me. "You're getting closer." That voice, it's not a voice you forget. It doesn't sound unnatural. That's what makes it worse. It sounds just like mine. But the tone is too even, too calm. Like he's not worried about time. Like he knows how this ends and he's just waiting for me to catch up. I turned and ran again, back out into the dark. I didn't stop until I hit a fence. Some rusted out barbed wire thing surrounding what looked like an abandoned lot full of construction trailers. One of them had a door open. I climbed through a gap in the fence and went inside. I've been here ever since. It's cold, the floor's dirty, everything smells like rust and wet drywall. But there are no mirrors, no glass, no screens, just me and the dark. At least I thought it was just me. About an hour ago, maybe more, I can't tell anymore, I started hearing a knock, not on the door, underneath the floor, slow, deliberate. One knock, then a pause, then another. I've moved to the far corner. My back's against the wall, knees pulled in. I keep staring at the plywood where the sound is coming from, and every time I think it's stopped, another knock echoes through the boards. He's under there. Or something is. And the worst part, the absolutely worst part, is that I'm starting to feel like I know him. Not recognize, know. Like he's always been there, watching, waiting for the moment I'd finally break the rule, waiting for the one crack in my habits, the one weak moment, the one slip-up. And now that I've let him in, he's trying to come out. Not just to mimic me, not just to follow, to become. I keep hearing that line in my head, from the note on the car. "You're looking in the wrong direction." I don't know what it means, not yet, but I think it's not about mirrors at all. I think it's about the moments we don't look, the places we don't expect, the things we turn our back to when we're scared. I haven't looked behind me in almost an hour. I'm too afraid that if I do, he'll be sitting right next to me, smiling, waiting, like he's always been. I finally looked behind me. I didn't mean to. It wasn't planned. It just happened, like a reflex. Like my neck turned on its own, the way you flinch when you think someone's standing too close. There was no one there. Not at first. Just the same wall, same stains, same peeling paint. But something had changed. The air felt wrong, pressurized, like I was standing at the bottom of a deep pool and the water was crushing in from every angle. I couldn't breathe, couldn't swallow. My skin felt too tight for my body, like something inside me was swelling up and pushing to the surface. Then I heard it, the knock. But this time, it wasn't beneath the floor. It was behind the wall, and it wasn't a fist. It was nails, long, slow, dragging across the inside of the sheetrock, not scratching to get out, but tracing, exploring, like fingers memorizing the shape of the room from the other side. I pressed my back harder against the opposite wall, hands trembling, trying not to make a sound. And then I heard his voice again. Closer this time, softer, more intimate. You forgot the rest of the rules. I don't know what that means. I didn't know there were more. For as long as I can remember, it was always just the one. Don't talk to the man in the mirror. No one ever said anything about what happens after you do. I stayed in that trailer all night, or what I thought was night. Time stopped meaning anything. My phone battery's dead. The clock on the wall doesn't move. The sky outside hasn't changed. It's stuck in that eternal pre-dawn darkness that feels like the whole world's holding its breath. Eventually, I had to move. I had to pee. My legs were cramping. My mind was unraveling. So I opened the door and stepped outside. And everything was wrong. It wasn't the lot I remembered. The fence was gone. The gas station in the distance, gone. Even the road I walked in on, vanished. Replaced by rows of identical silent trailers that seemed to go on forever. A whole landscape of repetition, like someone had copied and pasted reality around me and forgotten to give it texture. No sound, no wind, no smell, just that low-frequency hum in my bones. The same one you feel in an elevator that's moving, but you can't hear it yet. I walked, trying not to look at the trailer windows. Most of them were dark. A few were lit from within, but not like normal light. More like the kind of glow that happens when a screen is left on in a dark room. Cold, flickering, wrong. One of them had a shape inside. Just standing there, not moving, not waving, just watching me through the glass. I kept my eyes forward. I found another trailer with the door open and climbed inside, hoping to rest, to hide, to think. But it was the same layout, same stains, same peeling paint, same cracked mirror above the sink. Except this time, he wasn't just smiling. He was mouthing something. No sound came out, just lips moving slowly, deliberately, over and over, the same sentence. I counted the syllables, 5 words, and I knew if I stayed there long enough, I'd start to understand what he was saying. I'd start to hear it even if he didn't speak. So I covered the mirror with the towel again, curled up in the corner of the trailer, tried to sleep with my face turned to the wall. But when I closed my eyes, I didn't see darkness. I saw him. Closer now, not just behind the glass, but around it. And he was no longer wearing my expression. He was wearing one I didn't recognize. I think I finally understand what he's doing. He's not trying to enter this world. He's trying to rebuild it. From my memories, my routines, my fears. He's copying everything I know, trailer by trailer, wall by wall, until I'm surrounded by nothing but versions of myself. Distorted, reversed, familiar, but just enough to make me doubt whether I've been here before. And maybe I have. What if I've done this already? What if every time I break the rule, this starts over, a loop, a test, a trap, and maybe the voice I keep hearing isn't just his. Maybe it's mine, from the last time I ended up here, trying to warn the next me before it's too late. But I failed. I always fail, because the moment I speak, I let him in, and he learns me, and every time he gets closer to perfect. There's one more thing I haven't said, something I've been too scared to admit, even to myself. Earlier, when I saw the reflection mouthing those 5 words, I think I know what they were. I think he was saying, "You're not the real one." It's getting harder to remember what my own voice sounds like. Not his, mine. Every word I say feels thinner now, like my thoughts have to fight their way up through something before they can come out of my mouth. And when they do, they sound tired. Not like me, like an echo of me, a memory trying to remember itself. I haven't spoken out loud in hours, maybe days. I don't know anymore. I'm too afraid he'll hear me. Too afraid I'll say something that lets him finish what I started. But the silence, it's not helping either. It's full. I don't know how else to describe it. Every second I stay quiet, I can feel the air pressing in, like something is crawling between the seconds, trying to wedge itself into the space I've left behind. I don't think the silence keeps him out. I think it feeds him. I left the trailer, started walking again. Every direction looks the same now. Endless, empty trailers under a sky that refuses to change. My legs ache, my throat's dry. But worst of all is the feeling that I'm being followed by my own footsteps, like I'm not the one making them. A few hours ago, I think, it started raining. Only it didn't feel like rain. It didn't hit my skin, didn't make a sound on the metal roofs. It just started falling, slow and heavy, like the sky was bleeding out in reverse. It soaked the dirt but left no puddles. It didn't even smell like rain. It smelled like warm breath, like someone breathing onto the back of my neck in a cold room. I passed a trailer with the door open and the light on. I should have kept walking, but something pulled me inside. Not curiosity, recognition. The carpet inside had a wine stain in the corner. The bed was unmade the way mine always was. A photo on the wall showed me, young, maybe 12, standing next to my mother on a beach I haven't thought about in 20 years. I didn't bring that photo here. I didn't bring any of this here. He's building it, all of it, piece by piece, from memory, from my memory, and he's getting better at it. That's what scares me the most. Not that he's copying me, that he's improving me, making cleaner versions, smarter ones that don't question the rules or make mistakes or let guilt slow them down. And the more of me he builds, the less I feel like I'm anything unique. Just one draft in a long line of failed models. One version trying to outrun the next before it replaces me. I went to the mirror. I don't know why. There was no towel this time, no covering, just the glass, clean, still, waiting. He was already there, and he wasn't smiling anymore. He looked disappointed. That scared me more than anything else, because that meant he had expectations. He tilted his head slowly, studying me like a sculptor checking their clay. Then he raised his hand, one finger, and pointed down. I didn't move. He pointed again. I looked. On the sink beneath the mirror, there was a razor, not mine, an old straight razor, the kind barbers used 100 years ago. It looked clean, it looked sharp, and next to it, carved into the porcelain of the sink, 5 words: "Prove you're the real one." I backed away so fast, I knocked into the door frame. He didn't follow. He didn't need to, because I understood. That's what this is, a contest, a challenge, a test of identity that has no rules, only consequences. He wants me to prove I'm real. But what does that mean? What would a real person do? Would they run? Would they fight? Would they bleed? Or would they give up and let the better version take their place? I'm writing this now because I don't know how much longer I'll remember what's mine. The trailers look more familiar every hour. I passed one earlier that had my old couch in it, the one I sold after college. Still had the same cigarette burn in the armrest. Another had my high school hoodie hanging on the doorknob. He's not just copying my life, he's replacing it, erasing everything I ever touched and writing over it with cleaner, sharper versions. Ones where he never broke the rule, where he never let himself slip. I don't know if there's a way out. I don't know if this world has edges anymore. But I know this. The more I look at him, the more he looks comfortable, like he belongs. And I'm starting to feel like the reflection, like I'm the one behind the glass, watching someone else live my life better than I ever did. And if that's true, if this is how it ends, then maybe I was never the real one to begin with. Maybe I've always been his shadow, and all this time, he's just been waiting for me to notice. I found a room with no mirrors. No glass, no metal, no screens, just 4 plywood walls, a warped ceiling, and a floor that creaks even when I'm standing still. It's the only place I've been that doesn't echo when I breathe. The air is dry, heavy, still tastes like dust, but at least it's mine. At least, I think it is. I haven't spoken in days. I've stopped keeping count. My voice is still inside me. I can feel it, but it's hiding behind something thick and damp and afraid. I tried whispering my name earlier and couldn't get it out, like something tightened in my chest the second I tried, like the name isn't mine anymore. I've started thinking about what he said. You forgot the rest of the rules. What rules? Where did they come from? Why do they feel so familiar? When I was a kid, I used to write little rules to keep myself safe. Don't step on the cracks. Close the closet before you sleep. Don't turn around after turning off the light. My mum used to laugh and say I was imaginative. But what if those weren't games? What if they were warnings I didn't understand at the time? Leftovers from something deeper, something older. And what if this rule, don't talk to the man in the mirror, was the only one I remembered? Because it's the last one. The one that only kicks in when the rest have already failed. The light's dimming now, but the power didn't go out. I think he's doing it, like he's adjusting the scene, controlling the set, pulling shadows closer, testing the angles, waiting for me to stop writing so he can start speaking again. I left this room once today, just once. I needed water. I walked down a row of trailers I don't remember passing through before, even though I know I have. They've changed, grown. He's refining them. I saw one with my old apartment door, number and all. Another had a flickering porch light with the exact same buzz my parents' house used to make when I was 7. Then I saw one with the door wide open, and inside, me. Not him, me. Or maybe the version of me he's replacing me with. I couldn't see his face. He had his back to me, shirtless, pale, leaning over a sink, slowly washing his hands. His motions were careful, deliberate, like he was getting ready, not rushed, not nervous, just preparing. And there were no mirrors in that trailer either, because he doesn't need them anymore. I backed away. I didn't run. I don't think I can anymore. Running won't fix this. Running won't prove anything. And that's what this is really about. Proof. He doesn't want to replace me. He wants me to surrender, to admit he deserves it more, that he's cleaner, quieter, stronger, more obedient, more refined, the kind of man who doesn't break the rules, the kind of man who doesn't talk when he's not supposed to. I think the test is almost over. That's why he gave me the razor, not to hurt myself, not to scare me, to choose. Either I prove I'm real, or I let him prove he's better. There's something else, something I haven't said out loud, not even to myself. Last night, I had a dream. At least, I think it was a dream. It felt too solid, too clear. I was sitting across from him, not in a mirror, at a table, wood, old, candlelight between us, everything silent. He didn't move. He just watched. And in front of both of us was a mirror lying flat on the table, like a black pool, still and endless. Our faces hovered over it, almost touching, but only one reflection showed, his. I leaned forward. My face didn't appear. I touched the glass. It rippled, slow and wide, like something deep beneath the surface had shifted. And then I heard him whisper, without moving his lips, "You're fading." When I woke up, I felt cold, but not on my skin, inside, like a part of me had been removed while I slept. I looked down at my hand, the same one that touched the mirror, and I swear to you, I swear on whatever's left of me, it was slightly transparent, just the edges, just enough to see through if the light hit it right. And that's when I knew. He's not trying to come through. He's trying to pull me in, not just kill me, consume me. Because that's how this place works. It's not a prison. It's a filter, a crucible, a place to decide which version of you gets to go back out into the real world. And every time you break the rule, every time you speak to the reflection, you spin the wheel again. And this time he's almost perfect. This time, I might not make it. But there's one thing I can still do. One rule he doesn't know, because I never said it out loud. If you close your eyes when he speaks, he can't finish the sentence. That's what I'm going to do. If he shows up again, if he speaks, I'll shut my eyes, and I won't answer. Even if he begs, even if he promises, even if he says I can go home, because I don't think home exists anymore. Not for me, only for whoever wins. I didn't sleep last night, not really. I closed my eyes, but my mind stayed open, eyes wide in the dark, watching everything I couldn't see. I kept waiting for him to speak again. I kept waiting for myself to forget. Just one word, that's all it would take. One slip, one answer, one breath too loud. But he didn't speak. He didn't need to. The room started changing. Subtle things at first. The shape of the doorframe, the color of the wallpaper. I noticed a hairline crack in the wall disappear, then reappear on the other side. My shadow started lagging behind me by a half second when I moved. And then the air shifted, like a sigh, but not from me. I turned toward the corner, the darkest one, the one I hadn't dared look into since I got here. He was there, not in the mirror, not in glass. Here, standing, silent, wearing my face, but not copying it anymore, owning it. There was nothing theatrical about him, no twitching, no grins, no blood. He didn't need to scare me. That was never the point. That's what makes this whole thing so hard to explain. He wasn't a monster. He was a version, refined, removed of weakness, stripped of fear, of hesitation, of second guessing. All the parts of me that flinched or questioned or regretted, he'd burned them off like fat from a bone. And the moment I saw him, really saw him, I knew the truth. I was never supposed to survive this. This place, whatever it is, it's not punishment. It's a correction. I think it's been here forever, waiting for people like me. People who talk to the glass, who break the rule and give the reflection permission to wonder, to question, to become. And once you do, it doesn't matter how fast you run, how quiet you stay. The moment you speak, you've already lost something, something you won't get back. He stepped closer. His steps didn't make sound. The floor didn't creak. His reflection didn't appear in the window beside us. Only mine did. Faint, flickering, like a candle running out of wick. I tried to look away, but my head didn't move, not because I couldn't, because I didn't want to. That was the moment I realized it wasn't a battle anymore. It was a handover. I had nothing left to fight with, no name, no voice, no memories that hadn't already been filtered, scrubbed, archived by him. He didn't just know me, he had become fluent in me. Every gesture, every instinct, every private thought I assumed no one else had seen. He'd studied them until I was just a rough draft in comparison. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the razor, the same one from before. He didn't offer it. He placed it on the floor between us, and then he knelt down, and he waited. That was the real test, not the mirrors, not the voice, not the rules. This moment. Because he didn't want to take it from me. He wanted me to give it to him, to finish the ritual by choice, to admit, without words, that I didn't deserve to be the one on the outside. And for one long shaking breath, I believed it. I reached for the razor. I held it. It was heavier than it should have been. Ice cold. No reflection on the blade, just emptiness. He watched me, still as stone, not pressuring, not judging, just waiting. And I saw it then. The truth. He wasn't evil. He wasn't a demon or a spirit or a curse. He was order. He was the answer to every moment I lied to myself, every second I didn't act, every choice I delayed until the world made it for me. He was what's left when you strip away the human parts. And I almost gave it to him. Almost. But then, I remembered something. Not a rule. A voice. One I hadn't heard in years. My mother's. When I was a kid, I used to talk to the mirror. She caught me once, whispering to my reflection. She didn't yell, didn't scold. She just knelt next to me, looked me in the eye, and said, "If it ever answers back, don't listen. That voice knows what you want to hear." And in that moment, I knew what this was. Not a test of strength, a test of submission. He wasn't better than me. He was easier than me. The part that never hesitates. The part that doesn't cry or apologize or forgive. The part that survives by erasing everything that makes surviving hurt. I set the razor down, stood up, and I said, quietly but clearly, "You're not me." He blinked, the first sign of emotion I'd ever seen from him, and for just a second, he faltered. I turned and walked out of the trailer. The door stayed open behind me. He didn't follow. He couldn't, because I didn't give him permission. And for the first time since this started, the sky began to change. A sliver of light, not a full sunrise, just a suggestion of it, like a new rule being written. I don't know if I'm back in the real world now. I don't even know if that world still exists, but I remember my voice again, and I know who I am. And if I ever see a mirror again, I won't speak, because he's still in there, and he's still listening, and he'll wait 100 years if he has to. But the moment I answer again, he'll finish what I started. And this time, he won't need permission. He'll just step through and smile.